The story of how a little boy saved a fish's life. I want to tell a quick story about something that happened yesterday and how I have realized that when I surrender and when I don't get stuck in my mind and when I don't let my conditioned mind make decisions for me, magical things can happen. So we are in Spain, and yesterday on this pier out here, there were two men out fishing, and they were out fishing all day. And there's two men and they had 4 fishing rods, two on each side. And myself and my son went out, Angelo, 6-year-old, went out to the pier to take a walk because it was really beautiful. The water's like literally so like flat and clean, and we took a walk out there. And he saw, and just for context, myself and my wife are plant-based. Angelo has been plant-based and his whole life, and we see animals as our friends, but that's just a little bit of context. So Angelo saw what was going on, and then we were meeting some friends later that day. We were meeting some friends in the restaurant here, which is just at the end of the pier where you can see directly onto the pier. And so we went back that morning, and Angelo loves Lego, and so Angelo built, and we saw some plastic and stuff in the thing. So Angelo built his version of, so he saw the fishing rods, he built a little thing with Lego. He tied a string around it and put a broken zip off it that kind of made a hook. He made this to pick plastic out of the ocean. So he called it a Lego cleaning hook or something like this. It was something like that he called it, Lego cleaning hook. And so that was fine. So we went later, and he was trying to pick plastic out of the ocean. And so what happened was our friends came and we met in this restaurant, and the same guys were still out fishing. They've been out there all day. I don't know how many hours, but quite a few hours. And Angelo was curious to go out there again. And so I sat with my friend. We sat with our friend, and Angelo went out. He's 6, very close to 7, and we're really practicing letting him have more, do more of what he wants and just be free. And so he really wanted to go and sit with the fishing guys. And so he sat with his Lego, I mean literally one strip of Lego on a string, and he was trying to pick plastic out. And so we're talking with our friend and we're not really paying attention to what's happening, and that's fine. And so he just sat there, and he sat there for ages, and it was interesting. And then after, I don't know how long, but a little while passed, I saw some activity going on with the two fishermen and with Angelo, and I was like, I had a laugh, and I said to our friend, I said to my wife, do you think Angelo he's caught a fish, or he's pulled some plastic out, or actually he's caught a fish with this thing that's actually designed to... Anyway, I go running over, and I am shocked to see that the fisherman is standing beside Angelo. Angelo's standing with this piece of Lego, and a fish is on the end of a hook. Quite a decent sized fish. And so it transpires that as Angelo sat there, the fishermen, and they couldn't really speak very much English, but they saw Angelo sat there and thinking that he wanted to fish, and so the fisherman had took out Angelo's string and his like zip hook and tied on an actual fishing line and put on a real hook and put on some calamari for bait. And Angelo, we thought he was sitting picking plastic out, and actually there was a real hook and a real bait, and he literally caught a fish with a piece of Lego and pulled it out of the water. And like, so there's a part of me that was like, oh my god, I don't want to, my fish are my friends, I don't want to hurt the friends. And anyway, and we're going over and we're just laughing, and I really surrendered to the experience, surrendered to, this is an experience he's having. It's amazing. So these guys have been fishing all day. They've got a bucket, and they've got 3 tiny fish in it. And I'm not even joking, the fish that Angelo pulled out with the Lego was bigger. And then so we kind of got to translating, the guy got the hook out of the fish, that was a bit horrible for myself and Elise, and Angela was just having the experience, and our friend was there as well. And so then the guy kind of in our kind of Spanglish, I suppose, what do you want to do with the fish? And initially I just said, oh, I don't know. And so the guy was put the fish in the bucket with the fish that he had caught, the other 3 tiny fish. And then he sort of looked back and he kind of intimated, and we could just tell. He said, no, you want to put the fish back in? And Angelo said yes. And so Angelo he gave the fish back to Angelo, and then Angelo threw the fish back. So I was, inside me, there was a part of me that was challenged with this, challenged with like the fish being hurt. Again, this is all my own stuff, hurting the fish and talking about that, but I was really surrendering, like, go, this is an experience, this is a beautiful experience. Your son is curious, it's amazing what happened. And I let go, and that was it. There was still some things coming up in me that I had to work with, which is amazing. That's how this life works. But anyway, so I went on from there, and then Angelo wanted to stay, and Elise, my wife, stayed with Angelo for a while and stayed with the fisherman, and I went off and did something else with our friend. And later in the evening when we went back, this is amazing. So I was still kind of feeling, I know I surrendered the experience, but I kind of wish you could have this experience without hurting a fish or pulling a fish out of the water. And then what happened, I couldn't believe. So he told me, Angelo said, that guy took a fish out of the bucket and let me put it back. And I said, yeah, I know, it was the fish that you caught. He did. He said, no. The guy, after I had left, asked Angelo if one of the fish that he had caught with his rod, where he'd sat all day wanting to fish, he asked Angelo, did he want to give that fish back? And Angelo said yes. And Angelo put one of the fish that the guy had sat all day, they put it in a bucket of water, and he put the fish back. And it just really struck me last night. It's like, oh my God, you're like, you've got your own stuff going on in you with the animals and the friends and hurting the animals, and actually look at the perfection of what happened. If I hadn't have surrendered, and if I had done what probably I would have think about doing before, maybe that fish would have been eaten tonight. And because I surrendered, maybe not because I surrendered, but just as what happened when I did surrender was actually another fish got put back into the water and wasn't killed. And I just wonder, how often in my life have I let my mind try and interfere with what's going on, let my conditioning do what's right, or whatever, and how that has changed consequences that I may not even know of. So one more time, when we were in Costa Rica earlier this year, there was a thing that happened with Angelo, and the video is called The Little Boy and the Ant. Go back and watch that, because I watched it today again, and just see the teachings that are coming from this little beautiful being and the animal kingdom. But I just wonder, maybe you resonate. Do you ever find yourself listening to your mind and listening to like a spontaneous thought of, I need to do this, or I need to do that, or I have to do this, and you spontaneously act in a way because it's right, or because of what you're supposed to do? And have you ever experienced when you maybe surrender to what is happening and stop trying to interfere, and something magical like this happens? I wanted to share this story today because it was beautiful for me, and maybe it resonates with you. So, love to hear in the comments what you feel about the nice story of how the little boy saved the life of a fish. If you're interested in diving deeper into this work of consciousness, of surrender, especially for men who a lot of times we act from here, the messages go from here to here before we've even allowed life to unfold. I'm here to work with men, especially at the moment around addictions, around your relationship, and around abundance and living your genius, living your purpose. If you are interested, you're a man, you would like to explore that, you can DM me below here, send a message, or go to heartleader.love, and we are opening up spaces to work with men. My wife is also working with women who are in the same space, and I just like to just reflect on how life so perfectly, plays out to teach us, to show us, to experience things that if we get in the way, we may not get that lesson, we may not get that wisdom. I am on a life mission to ignite, unite, and highlight 144,000 heart leaders living and giving their unique genius in the world, and to impact and inspire the next 7 generations on earth, leaving a legacy of love. Until next time, from my heart to yours, the divine in me sees, loves, and honors the divine in you. Namaste. We are